There we go. We should be back in the building. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. You know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We about to get into it. We are back at it for another live stream. Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE, at patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, the link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. Wow, today is going to be very interesting because we're going to be talking about Tyler Robinson, and we're going to hear from Candace Owens as well on Tyler Robinson and find out, are we being lied to? A lot of stuff surrounding this assassination of Charlie Kirk is not making sense, and we're going to get into it shortly. We've also got an update on this David situation where this poor girl was found up dismembered in the front seat of the front of his car. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a case y'all may have not heard of before, and we're going to get into a lot of wild stuff today as always. But before we do, I gotta say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. Let me double check and make sure we're good. Okay, I see some ones in the chat. We should be good now. Of course, to start today, we've got my awesome, amazing Amy is up in here. Shout out to Amy, reminding y'all to like the video and doing what she does. Let's be amazing. Taco Tuesday is in the building. It's your day. Happy Taco Tuesday. Les Cleaver's in here. We got the big dog, J Money. We've got Les Cleaver up in this thing. Mary's in here. Just saying with Alicia. Good morning to you. We've got, who else? Oh man, I'm missing so many of y'all. It's moving fast. Virginia Wiley's in here. Trisha, the Honorable Attorney Kel Bell is in the building. Jay Buckmaster. We've got Angela. Ducky Dexter's in here as well. I'll be saying good morning to many of y'all as we go throughout the show. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Now, if you haven't yet, please make sure you like the video on your way in. I don't ask for much on this show, but the one thing I do ask for and I beg for is that you all like the video, okay? Likes are free. Likes are free. It helps the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show. It shares the video, the channel, this live stream out with more people. And it really takes less than a second, y'all. All right. So if you could, please make sure you like the video. 1,300 of you have already done that. So thank y'all so much. Wow. That's a lot of likes. And I know we'll have more people joining the show as we get to it. So make sure y'all do that on your way in. All right. Secondly, if you're feeling generous, you can share the video as well. Just click the share button. It's got a little arrow that's curved and pointing to the right. You can share that out on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, and even in your group chat. You can share it through text as well. So thank you to those of you that do that consistently. I appreciate it. And it really does help us out. Also, I will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. There's already several of y'all that have dropped super chats. Shout out to my guy, Les Cleaver in here with the 5 bomb. What does he say? He says, when the pressures of life and the world are overwhelming and get to you, look above to God and be assured as he loves you and always will. Amen. And amen to that. Shout out to Les Cleaver for that good word. I appreciate you. We've also got CPE in here with another quote. Okay, with the 5 bomb. He says, what lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you. Ralph Waldo Emerson. That's a good quote. I like that one. Good reminder to be present, isn't it? We're always worrying about tomorrow. Sometimes feeling ashamed for what's been in the past, but man, just be present. Be here today. Take it one day at a time. I say that always. All right. I know y'all are ready to get into the show, and we've got a ton of topics to get into. This first one is going to be, it's going to be tough to hear, especially as a parent. If y'all haven't heard about this case, well, you'll definitely want to check this out. And before we get into the details surrounding this case, I think this is a good reminder of what being proactive can do. If you're proactive and involved in what's going on with your community, what's going on in your state, what's going on in your county, a lot of these tragedies, not that they could be prevented, but a lot of these conversations can be had and should be had before a tragedy like this strikes. And I think it's a good reminder to all of us to not only be involved with our communities, but know and understand the laws where you are. So we're going to talk about the very, very tragic and sad case of Logan Federico. All right. We're going to hear from her father. We're going to hear a little bit about the case in the background. And Logan's father has been advocating for change in the system ever since this situation and ever since his daughter was murdered by this evil man. And you're gonna hear why this man is so evil, amongst other things, and why the system is broken in so many ways. Check this out.
When he first walked in, I got very emotional. I think that was pretty obvious, you know. And then my daughter's face set in front of my eyes. My wife, Melissa, grabbed me, you know, and we said this: today, Logan's strong. That's what we're going with.
Logan Federico's father describing what it's like to be face to face with the man police say killed his 22-year-old daughter earlier this month.
And that's why I'm here. I'm Logan's voice today, you know. And to be honest with you, I'm Logan Federico right now. And I was savagely executed by a career criminal, okay?
Sad.
And there are people in this community that have helped bring that person to justice so far. It isn't done yet, but it has begun today.
Emotions were high in the courtroom Tuesday morning as family, friends, and even law enforcement teary-eyed and determined to make sure justice is served. 30-year-old Alexander Dickey appearing before a Columbia municipal judge to face 12 charges, including murder. Bond was not set due to the nature of his crimes. Dickey saying, "All right, I guess I will go back to jail after that decision." Authorities say Dickey broke into 2 homes on Cypress Street in Columbia this month, stole credit cards, a wallet, shot Logan, stole a car, and then went on a spending spree in Lexington County with the stolen.
The worst of the worst, man. And not only shot her, I mean, this man made Logan get on her knees, put her hands behind her head, and then he just executed her in the middle of the house. Father's going to go on to talk about it later. She was there 7 hours before anybody in the house knew what was going on. I mean, it's a tragic story.
Cards.
He's already proven who he is, right? He's got a great resume to tell you that that's exactly what he was going to do today. And that's exactly what he did. He acted exactly like I thought he would.
High-profile attorney Dick Harpootlian providing legal advice to the Federico family and says Dickey deserves nothing less than the harshest penalty.
I think this case qualifies statutorily for the death penalty. I think that the background of this young man, he's not really a young man, 30 years old, would indicate he should qualify for the death penalty. We're going to meet with the solicitor right now to ask that he seek the death penalty. This
really is about her, and they're making it about her. We're not making it about us. She needs justice. She needs swift justice. And that's what they're helping us get by taking time, giving us time to do that.
For now, Alexander Dickey will remain at the Lexington County Detention Center, where he is already being held without bail for the charges he faces in that county. He is due in court again on July 25th. In Columbia, Misharia Adams, Watch Fox News. Local.
All right, so that's a little bit of background of what's going on in this case. Now we can fast forward to recently what Logan's father has been talking about, what he's been pushing to get done. And I'll also give you guys some information on how you can support this family if you choose to do so. Here we go.
It's my wife. I think I got cheated. I won't be able to walk her down an aisle.
Dang.
It was a shooting that shocked the Carolinas. A young woman killed last month in a quiet Columbia neighborhood. And we found the 30-year-old now charged with her murder has a long criminal history. In 11 years, he picked up 39 charges in the Midlands.
Investigative reporter Cynthia Beasley uncovered errors in the suspect's criminal record that could have kept him behind bars for a longer period of time. The question is, does that mean this tragedy could have been prevented?
Yeah, that's sad to think that the man was running free allegedly just because of some errors that were made. How is this possible? Why isn't this something that was followed through? See it often, too often.
Well, Judy, her father thinks that it could have been prevented. Less than 2 years before 22-year-old Logan Federico was murdered, the man accused of killing her pleaded guilty to committing a burglary for the first time. But it wasn't his first time. It was the third time he pleaded guilty to burglary. But prosecutors in Lexington County say they didn't know that. A repeat offender will typically get a higher sentence than a first-time offender. So if solicitors knew that this was not his first time, they tell me Dickey could have gotten a longer sentence, so long that he could have still been in prison today.
Fault for the underdog.
She cared about people.
Steven Federico says his daughter, Logan, wasn't afraid to do what was right, even if it meant putting up a fight.
I'm not doing this. Logan is going to lead this charge. I'm just a voice. That's all I am.
A charge toward justice for his daughter.
Yeah. It's sad.
It should have never happened.
On May 3rd, Columbia police say Alexander Dickey was on a crime spree, starting his night by stealing a car. Then police say he went into a home in the Old Shandon neighborhood where he stole car keys, wallets, and a gun. Next, they say he went into the unlocked home next door. Also in that home, Logan Federico.
Once the autopsy was conducted, the coroner's office determined that the death was by a fatal gunshot wound.
Investigators say Dickey shot and killed her. This wasn't the first time Dickey broke into a home. In 2014, when Dickey was 19 years old, he pleaded guilty to burglary. 4 months later, in 2015, he pleads guilty to another burglary. This one is charged as a first offense, even though he pleaded guilty to that earlier charge in the same courthouse just months before. Then, in 2023, Dickey is back in court, pleading guilty to yet another burglary. This one also charged as a first offense. But it was...
I want to know y'all's opinion in the comments and in the chat. And we'll get back into this in a second. Someone like this, someone who's committing these type of crimes over and over and over, what do you think a reasonable process would be to rehabilitating this person? Do you believe they can be rehabilitated at all? Clearly, this man doesn't have a fear of the law. Maybe he was benefiting from not only stealing, but also being locked up. Doesn't make sense.
This one also charged as a first offense, but it was his third offense.
First offense.
Less than 2 years later, Dickey is charged with another burglary in Columbia, and this time the murder of Logan Federico. So how did this happen? How does someone get convicted of first-time burglary twice? I found Dickey's burglary history in just minutes online. So why didn't prosecutors see it when they handled this case 2 years ago? The answer, they say, is in his rap sheet. It's the official record used to track someone's criminal history, and it's what solicitors use when prosecuting defendants. In 2023, Dickey's rap sheet was 15 pages long, but not a single burglary charge was on there. And the solicitor says it could come down to just a fingerprint. That's how the state law enforcement division tracks someone's criminal history and compiles their rap sheet. A spokesperson says SLED never received fingerprints when Dickey was booked in 2014 for burglary. Dickey was booked twice that year for burglary. The first time leading to that 2014 conviction, the second leading to the 2015 conviction. The Lexington County Sheriff's Department says the detention center did send SLED fingerprints for the first arrest, but they don't know if Dickey was fingerprinted for the second. Rick Hubbard, the solicitor who represents Lexington County, says had Dickey's previous burglaries been listed on his rap sheet, they would not have prosecuted his 2023 case as a first offense burglary, and he likely would have gotten a much longer sentence. A sentence that could have meant he was behind bars instead of continuing his crimes.
We've got to find out where that hole in the process happened, and let's fix that so this doesn't happen again, that people like him aren't on the street. She's the underdog now, okay? And now it's my job to lift her up, and that's what I'm going to do. I promised her.
I mean, obviously the man has to take some accountability, but the system, it's there for a reason. It's there for a purpose. And if the system fails, then there has to be changes. There has to be updates. If it's just someone not doing their job, do we hire more qualified people? Do we pay more to have safer neighborhoods? I mean, Amy's dropping a link in the chat and saying this man's criminal history is 37 pages long. This can't keep happening. And the judges, as gracious as they can be sometimes, if you're a repeat offender like this, there has to be something done about releasing you back to society properly, if at all. Jeez, man.
And days after I found this decade-old discrepancy, Dickey's criminal record was corrected.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Well, Cynthia, I know that you found that Dickey was given lower sentences than what he faced several times in the Midlands. Do you know why?
So we're still trying to get those answers, specifically to a case that happened in 2019. That's when Dickey was charged with armed robbery, but instead he pleaded guilty to common law robbery. He was sentenced to 4 years when his original charge carried a 10-year mandatory minimum sentence. That was before he pleaded guilty to that first offense, burglary, for a second time. I sent Solicitor Hubbard a list of questions about Dickey's sentencing history. He said because Dickey has pending charges in his circuit related to the Federico case, he said it would be unethical for him to comment on Dickey's.
That makes sense. Also, if you guys want to support Logan Federico, you can do that. I will leave a link in the pinned comment of this video and in the description for you as well. You could go support her family. I cannot imagine what they're dealing with, and especially as a father of daughters. I mean, I cannot imagine what that father must be feeling right now. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments, in the chat. In the next segment, in the next video, we're going to actually hear more from Logan's father and what he's actually doing to make a change in his community. Check this out in a second. All right, shout out to the gang in here. I'm gonna pull this up. There's over 1,000 of y'all in the building. Thank you to all 1,300 of you that have liked the video so far. Amy actually sent this over, and I kind of want to, let me see if I could do it this way. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Now we're good. I want to pull this up so we can actually look at this man's rap sheet, because I'm sure there's a lot there. 37 something charges. Let's see, he's discharged. Here are the cases here. I mean, my goodness. Where are the charges there? I got to figure out how to read this because this looks different. Here we go. So how many of these do we have? We have charge code, possession, conceal, dispose of stolen vehicle. Okay. Possession of a stolen vehicle. So this is when, it looks like this is when Logan was killed. We also has receiving goods. So was that theft by receiving? It's what they call it around here. We've got resisting arrest in 2024. He's got, I want to go back further and see what some of his first charges were. And they say now the record's been updated. 2013, we've got larceny, breaking into a motor vehicle, and tanks or pumps. What? We've got another larceny charge. We've got on the same case, it seems like, another larceny charge. We've got larceny on this one as well. How many counts of larceny does he have? Again, am I looking at this right? Good Lord, how many cars did he break into? Another larceny charge. That's a case number ending in 216. This is a case number ending in 215. We've got larceny again. It just keeps going on. Case ending in 130. We've got breaking into a motor vehicle. Guys, these are all different instances. We've got 127. Vehicle or possession of a stolen vehicle. We've got case ending in 570. Larceny. I mean, this guy was... Man. This is crazy. Absolutely sad. Absolutely tragic. Again, if y'all want to support the family, I'll leave the link to the GoFundMe in the comments for y'all, also in the chat, and I'll leave it in the description of this video as well. So we're going to keep moving and get into what Logan's father had to say next. So with everything that went on with the, not only the trial of Logan Federico, but also everything that happened behind the scenes with finding out why this man was on the streets in the first place. Now we have Logan's father is taking steps not only to protect his own kids and his own family, but the rest of the community by trying to make some changes with the way this system is done. Because looking at his rap sheet, which we have, this guy never should have been out on the street in the first place. So let's listen to what he has to say.
And we want to get to breaking news out of Colombia just moments ago. The man accused of fatally shooting a young woman on Cypress Street appeared before a judge. His name is Alexander Dickey. Now, he had a bond hearing that began at about 11:30 this morning. Due to Dickey being charged with murder, a decision on his bond will be made in General Sessions Court at a later date. As many of you know, Dickey is accused of killing 22-year-old Logan Federico from North Carolina. Investigators say Dickey broke into a home on Cypress Street on May 3rd before going on an alleged crime spree. He was arrested in Lexington County the next day. Logan's father spoke moments ago after the hearing. Here's what he had to say.
Support from a community is kind of hard to describe unless you go through it.
Yeah, Star, I feel that.
You know, and we're going through the worst of the worst right now. The amount of love that we have seen from our family, from our friends, from people we don't even know, okay? They don't even know, reaching out because of my daughter and how special of a person she was. This really is about her, and they're making it about her. We're not making it about us. She needs justice. She needs swift justice. And that's what they're helping us get by taking time, giving us time to do that.
And this midday, we are also learning when the memorial service for Logan will be. Now, according to a GoFundMe page set up on behalf of her family, her service is scheduled for May 22nd. Now, the fundraiser has already brought in more than $33,000, which speaks to the support you just heard the father said he is receiving from people around the country. Now, we are told that the money will help cover funeral expenses and provide support to her loved ones during this difficult time.
So now we're going to get into this hearing that took place where Logan's father is going to speak to the House Judiciary Committee about everything that took place during this investigation and how this could have been prevented in the first place. And it gets wild.
Federico.
This is understandable.
I want to make sure you all knew my daughter was. My daughter was Logan Federico. Okay?
Sir.
Yes. Logan Federico. She was 22, visiting friends at the University of South Carolina. How many of y'all have kids? I'm just curious. Here's what I need you to do. When I tell you this story, think about your kids. Think about your child coming home from a night out with their friends, laying down, going to sleep, feeling somebody come in the room and wake them, and drag her out of bed, naked, forced on her knees, with her hands over her head, begging for her life.
Execution style.
Begging for her hero, her father, me, that couldn't be there. She was 5'3". She weighed 115 pounds. Bang! Dead. Gone. Why? Because Alexander Devontae Dickey, who was arrested 39 goddamn times, 25 felonies, was on the street.
25.
How about that? How good are we doing for our family? How good are you doing for your kids? He should have been in jail for over 140 years for all the crimes he committed. You know how much time he spent in prison? A little over 600 days in 10 years. He's only 30 years old. He was committing 2.65 crimes a year since he was 15 years old. But nobody could figure out that he couldn't be rehabilitated. Well, you'd have to put him in prison to see if he could be rehabilitated. Isn't that the idea of prison? But no, my daughter wanted to be a teacher. She finally figured it out 2 weeks before she was executed. And I haven't heard a damn word from Byron Gibson in South Carolina. Not one word.
4 months, no communication. His biggest concern was that he was pissed off about my interview and how I made him look on the Fox News channel with Trey Gowdy. How pathetic is that? That we're letting our 22-year-old kid visiting friends. That's all she ever wanted to do was visit friends. And she literally was executed while on her knees begging for her life. Her name's Logan Federico, not Irina. And you will not forget her. I promise you. You will be sick and tired of my face and my voice until this gets fixed.
Yeah, he's saying, hey, listen, she's American. She's not Irina Zaruska. Rest in peace to her. I mean, this is someone, again, who was here just going about their life, and they were tragically killed. I get it.
I will fight until my last breath for my daughter. You need to fight for the rest of our children, the rest of the innocents, and stop protecting the people that keep taking them from us. Please. You have the power. We put you in the power to do what you have to do. We're asking you, we're begging you all to stop this. 39 crimes in 10 years, 25 felonies. Can anybody here explain to me, well, how possibly he could be on the street? Possibly be on the street. How is it possible? I could sit down in a room and I could explain the whole process of how it failed, how South Carolina failed, Logan, okay? How lack of communication. What y'all did, you woke up a beast and you pissed off the wrong daddy. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to put it out there. And I'm not going to be quiet until somebody helps. Logan deserves to be heard. Everyone on this panel deserves to be heard. And we will. Trust me. My daughter laid on the floor for 7 hours before somebody in that house recognized that something was wrong. And that career criminal, an hour later, went on a spending spree with her debit card. When they saw his face on a video, they didn't have to do a check. He was arrested so many times, they knew who he was. They knew exactly where to go get him. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic that I'm here today. Thank you for your time.
And shout out, and again, round of applause to this man, because it shouldn't have to come to this. It shouldn't have to come to this poor girl losing her life. It shouldn't have to come to a father being outraged because his daughter's life was taken. There are ways we can make changes now. There are ways we can get involved. We can vote. We can be actively involved and talking with, from the sheriff to the governor to the mayor to legislators. There's so many places and so many things that we can be doing to make changes and make sure that our officials and people that we voted into office are working for us and doing their job. And that's what Mr. Federico is saying here. Now, he did an interview directly after this to where he goes into more detail about what he's going to be doing moving forward and how we can make changes in our own community as well.
A 22-year-old aspiring teacher shot and killed during an attempted burglary. The victim's father outraged after learning her alleged killer likely should have been behind bars. He was only free thanks to clerical errors. Let's bring in Steven Federico, father of Logan Federico. Steven, thank you very much for joining us. For all of us hearing your story, we just can't imagine what it's like grieving the loss of your beautiful daughter every single day. First, share with us what happened with Logan.
Logan was doing exactly what she always did. She was having a good time, visiting friends at colleges, once a month, it seemed like, from Clemson to UNC Charlotte, University of South Carolina. She had friends everywhere. And really just was down there visiting some friends and a gentleman that she was dating. And never came home.
So sorry, and we have her pictures up on the screen that you provided us. Just a beautiful young woman with so many dreams, as you have detailed to us, an aspiring teacher. It was described that this was a random crime at a May 5th press conference. And after learning more details about her killer, you take issue with that. Why?
Well, listen, random is random. Okay, random is just something out of the blue. That's my definition of random. Random isn't given a career criminal opportunity. And he was given opportunity at several different levels, okay? From missed fingerprints, which they can't even tell me if they were actually taken or whether there was a malfunction of some sort, from deal making to drop charges to, less serious charges. So he's back on the street. If you look at him and his background and his resume of crime, 39 arrests, 25 felonies, and I think a little over a decade. He spent a little over 600 days in prison. That's it. And in one stint, the longest he stayed was 400 days. Something's really wrong with that.
Very wrong. I'm quoting you directly. You said there are more people fighting for the rights of a career criminal than fighting for the right for my daughter to be safe. Yep. You say that there was a series of clerical errors that led to him being able to walk freely and eventually walk in attempt burglary that ended with the killing of your daughter. What is it that you learned was happening along the way that allowed him to, we just showed the 13 of Alexander Dickey's mugshots. You just detailed his lengthy rap sheet, 40 criminal and traffic cases between 2013 and the present, sentenced in.
Yeah, and even in 2013, we just saw, as we looked at his rap sheet, he had about 4 larceny charges, 5, maybe even 6, back to back to back to back to back. Breaking into car, breaking into car, breaking into a car. I mean, this man exhibited a certain type of pattern. Should have never come to this.
8 cases that involved charges of robbery, drug possession, larceny. I mean, the list goes on. And sadly now, this career criminal is charged with the murder of your daughter, 2 counts of first-degree burglary, among other charges. So why was he out on the streets? Why was he free?
Well, let's not forget, though, one of his charges was armed robbery with a gun.
Yeah.
And it was dropped to a lesser charge of a first offense, from what I understand. He was out on the street because
that should never happen.
The lack of fingerprints that were taken or either lost or just not given the sled, and from solicitors that continuously give them lesser charges. That's why he wasn't in prison. It's as simple as that. He should have been in prison for 10, 15, 20 years just from the previous crimes that he committed before some of the armed robberies. Okay? He should have never met Logan.
Yeah.
So, there's many levels of who has to own having blood on their hands for Logan. Okay? It's not just the solicitors. It's not just the mistakes with the fingerprints. He was given opportunity of a gun. He was given opportunity to gain access to Logan.
And I know now there's a lot of finger pointing and who dropped the ball here and letting this person out and able to kill your sweet, beautiful daughter, Logan. And I know, Steven, it is your goal to get out there and tell her story and to help not let this happen to someone else like her. And we're here to.
Yeah, we have to. Now the goal is to come together as a community, but not only as a community, but as elected officials.
Yeah.
Elected officials have the power to help fix this. And I need someone on my side. And if they're not going to be on my side, then they got to get out of my way.
Wow.
I hear that. Shout out to him. And again, if you want to support the Federico family, I will leave a link in this video in the comments. And y'all can go and find it at GoFundMe.com as well. All right. Amazing message. I don't want this to happen to anyone. I don't want this to happen to a parent or a parent to have to go through this as well. So, man, make sure you guys are involved and you understand what's going on in your streets. Who's walking your streets? Why are they allowed to walk your streets after they've committed certain crimes? Because we want to catch these types of things before something like this happens. And I don't want to hear about another Logan. I don't want to hear about another Irina. I don't want to hear about another. I mean, we could go on. It's really tragic, really sad. Y'all make sure you get involved, know what's going on in your community. All right. The link to this will be in the description as well as in the chat. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat too. Shout out to Amy for dropping the link as well. Got to be active, man. Thank you to all 1,500 of you who are in the building too. Guys, I don't ask for much on this channel. Please, I am begging you, please like the video. All right. Like the video on your way in. It's free. It really does help us out. I know 1,300 of you have already done that. And I appreciate every single one of y'all for that as well. All right. Let me see what y'all are saying. He talks a good talks. Hope nothing happens to that man. I hope he keeps pushing too. I mean, I know he said he has other kids and we saw one of his sons there as well. You just got to keep pushing. Got to keep pushing. Look at Young Thug and YFN Lucci movement now. And Woody is hated hard. Like they want to change Atlanta around telling kids and adults to put guns down. Yeah, that's dope. Shout out to Thug. I'm glad he's out there doing the right thing. And Lucci too. I'm glad they squashed whatever they had going on. Hopefully it lasts, man. It's not worth it. Not worth it at all. Sadly, gun laws won't fix this. No, it's a criminal. It is a criminal that wants guns. They will get a gun. And I mean, just think of all the guns that are out there now anyway. I mean, you would literally have to take everybody's guns and, we're not going to let that happen. So it's just very sad, very tragic to see. I don't want anybody else to lose their life, man. There's too many have had that happen. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into our main topic. Thank you to all of you for sticking around as we went through some of these other topics as well. I know many of you may be new to the channel. When we do the morning show, unless we're covering a specific trial, I like to go through and cover a plethora of subjects just to give you guys an idea of what's going on in the world. We cover popular topics. We're going to be talking about what's going on with David and Celeste a little bit later, what's happening with the Charlie Kirk assassination, as well as something you may not have heard of, like the Logan Federico case. So make sure y'all stick around, like the video, subscribe if you haven't yet, hit the notification bell. I think y'all have a good time here. I know you will. All right, let me go ahead and get this updated. We got to get Charlie Kirk up there because we're going to be talking about Tyler Robinson here shortly. Let me double check and make sure I got the time right on this. Yeah, here we go. So again, let's get back into this. Many of you are aware Charlie Kirk was assassinated several weeks ago, unfortunately, and his alleged killer is being brought back to trial. And he's being brought back because there's going to be a hearing. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do before we get to the actual trial. And now we're going to hear from his representation. It seems like Tyler's got representation. We're actually going to be talking about Tyler himself a little bit later, and we'll get into that in another video. But here we're going to hear from the judge. We're going to hear from both sides as far as how they want to handle the preliminary hearings and how they're going to move forward into trial. We may be hearing something coming from Tyler too. Y'all make sure you stick around and check this out.
Please be seated. Good morning. Court is now in session. Calling the case 251403576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Counsel, could you enter your appearances, please?
Oh, by the way, do y'all think Tyler did it? There's a lot of conspiracy theories out here. I want to know in the comments in the chat, what do you all think is going on? If you've been following this at all, I need your opinion because we're going to cover some of the conspiracy theories about this a little bit later. But who do you think is responsible for Charlie Kirk's death? Is it Tyler? Is it the FBI, CIA, NSA, the governor? Let me know what y'all think.
Chad Grunander, Jeff Gray, Lauren Hunt, Ryan McBride, and Chris Ballard for the state, Your Honor.
Good morning, counsels.
State is loaded it up.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kathy Nestor, Michael Burt, and Richard Novak on behalf of Mr. Robinson.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning to you all.
So he's got a team up
Into
there.
the
We'll have to
jail.
research them.
Do we have Mr. Robinson present?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Robinson,
That's
good
Tyler.
morning to you as well. Counsel, as we begin,
Cool, calm, and
I have
collected.
entered orders allowing the admittance of Mr. Michael Burt, Mr. Richard Novak, pro hoc vice, and appointing them along with Ms. Catherine Nestor to be Mr. Robinson's counsel. The court enters findings that the combined experience of counsel meets and exceeds the requirements of Rule 8. Counsel, do we have, what would we like to accomplish today?
I have two items, Judge. I just wanted to make a record that under Rule 16 of the Utah Rules of Criminal Procedure with respect to discovery, the state is required to provide to the defense within 5 days of the defense's request the discovery that we relied on in making this charging decision. We'll be prepared to do that, so we'll look for defense counsel's request over the next day or so, and we'll provide that to the defense.
Thank you.
We also, for the court's information, we met this morning with the defense team briefly in our office to talk about discovery and the process, so we'll be working together. There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor.
A substantial
it's voluminous,
amount,
to say the least.
Wow.
We're working on a process where we can exchange information as quickly as possible and be efficient in that process. The other item I had, Your Honor, I saw that over the weekend there was a
Voluminous,
protection
he said.
order, pretrial and trial publicity order entered by Your Honor. And I just was seeking some clarification. On page 2, at the end of the first paragraph, it reads, "To that end, lawyers participating in the investigation or litigation of this case shall inform all witnesses, investigators, consultants, staff members, or other members of the prosecution or defense teams that the prohibitions contained in this order." The state were seeking some clarification with respect to the phrase "all witnesses," Your Honor. There are a number of witnesses that have yet to be identified that will likely be used in the state's case. This occurred in front of 2,000 to 3,000 students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now. So we're looking for a little clarification from the court. And I suppose we're not going to make any arguments today, but there may be some follow-up pleadings that we may need to file.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor, did you want to be heard about that issue?
No, Your Honor, we would defer to whatever the court wants to advise them on that matter. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that we don't know who all the witnesses are in this case yet. I think it's just important that if anyone is identified, that they have information about this order. So I think other than that, we wouldn't weigh in on any other matter.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that question. That's an important one. The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and so it's not the expectation that you would be able to do that up front, but as they become known, I would ask that you would inform them of this. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the state, nothing else, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor.
Thank you, Your Honor. We recognize that we are here today for a waiver hearing. It is not our intent to waive a preliminary hearing in this matter. We are going to be seeking that one be set. However, based largely on what the state just referred to as far as the voluminous nature of the discovery materials, we do think it would be prudent to simply reset for another conference, another waiver hearing, a little bit down the road, where we have a better idea once we start seeing the discovery as it rolls in. I do recognize we're going to be getting that first batch in 5 days, but it's my understanding from our meeting today that there is massive amounts of digital that is going to be coming. And
like what?
Until we can kind of get our heads around exactly what we're dealing with and how much we need to process, it's going to be difficult for us to give you a reasonable expectation of when we will be ready to do the prelims. So we're asking today that we put that decision off, and maybe we could check in 30 to 60 days and just kind of let the court know where we're at and how much we're looking at and how much time we may need to set a preliminary hearing.
That preliminary hearing is going to be insane.
Also, as far as a detention hearing, we are not asking the court to address that issue at this time. Under the statute, the issue is going to come down to the question of whether there's substantial evidence, which right now we're just not in a position at all to be able to even argue to the court. So we are probably going to ask that the court delay that decision possibly until the time of the prelim. But if it's sooner, we will ask the court for a hearing. But at this time, we are not asking the court to make any decisions on that matter.
Thank you, counsel. In regards to the next hearing date, how about October 30th at 10 a.m.?
That works for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
That's fine for the defense, Your Honor.
All right.
It's 30 days
Now, as
from
we're
now.
at the beginning, anything further from counsel from either side?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
As we are at the beginning of this case, it is my intent to only speak when I'm needed or it is necessary. But today I do wish to provide guidance and
This judge is
expectations that
super
you
chill.
can have for this court and wish to enter an order as well. As this case moves forward, Mr. Robinson's constitutional rights will be protected at every stage. He sits before this court presumed innocent, and that presumption remains unless and until each element of every offense charged against him is proved beyond a reasonable doubt. At the same time, and as applicable, victims are entitled under our Constitution to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, free from harassment or abuse. Justice demands that both of these principles, the rights of the accused and the rights of victims, be honored without compromise. I remain steadfast in my oath that I made 56 days ago to support and defend the constitutions of the United States and of Utah. I will carry out my duties with fidelity, transparency, and impartiality, treating every person who appears before me with the dignity and respect they are inherently due because they are human beings. Let me be clear. I will not put my finger on the scale of justice. These proceedings will be open to the public, conducted in accordance with the law, and handled with diligence and competence to ensure that justice is never compromised. It is the standing order of this court that Mr. Robinson shall be allowed to appear in person so he can fully engage with his attorneys and participate in these legal proceedings.
Wow.
Counsel, regardless of who is watching, whether it is the nation or a single individual, we must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence. I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of Utah deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice. In regards to the next hearing, counsel, on that October 30th date at 10 a.m., it's the court's intent that it be in person if it be the wish of counsel for the defense for Mr. Robinson to be present.
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Counsel, anything else that we can address today?
Your Honor, we appreciate the court's comments with respect to Your Honor's role in this case. In like matter, we commit to approach this case with integrity, with professionalism and civility. We are truth seekers. We will aggressively pursue the truth in this case. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
We want to know what's going on.
All right, counsel, unless there's anything else, thank you for being here. This court is in recess.
All right, there it is. So shout out to the judge saying, hey, y'all ain't gonna hide. Everybody's gonna know what's going on. Also, interesting fact is that there's so much evidence in this case. Obviously, we know there were messages being sent back and forth, allegedly. There was information about Tyler being at other locations, allegedly. We have all the witnesses, the eyewitnesses, the video that may come out. I mean, there's so much we could get into. So I'm going to be interested to see what this evidence looks like, because y'all know we're facts over feeling here, right? Speaking of, let's go ahead and get into that. We're going to hear a little bit more about what this evidence can show and what we've seen already from the state of Utah in this case.
Kirk's alleged assassin will appear for a virtual court hearing where his legal team will decide if they want to waive the right to a preliminary hearing and speed up the proceedings. Tyler Robinson faces multiple state charges, including aggravated murder, and state prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett joins us now. Greg, thanks so much for joining the program this morning.
Sure. Lawrence, good to be with you. You know, I think given the intensity of the public passion surrounding the cold-blooded assassination of a beloved figure, I think the concern right now today is safety and security. It's unwise to run the risk of an open courtroom appearance when it's not really necessary for a fairly routine court appearance known as a status and waiver hearing, as you point out. So they're going to have the accused on videotape from jail instead of in the courtroom. You know, the judge will talk with counsel about the track of the case, sharing evidence, whether the defendant will waive his right to a preliminary hearing. You know, but you don't really need Robinson there in court. Plus, you avoid the negative optics, the accused in shackles that might create undue bias in the minds of potential jurors if seen in photographs and videotape. So you're not going to see him there literally in court today, only by videotape, and there are good reasons for that.
So let's talk about this appearance and the mountain of evidence. So he's been appointed a public defender.
That's what I want to
hear. And this public defender is very skilled, has a lot of experience. But then I look at the mountain of evidence against him. So there's a note where he talks about, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. There's DNA matches on the rifle and the trigger, spinning unused cartridges casings. And then there's the towel rifle that was wrapped in. Then you got the family interviews, details his shift from left-leaning to pro-gay and trans.
Now, we're going to get into this about the family shortly, because we're hearing this report from a lot of sources, but in this instance, Fox News is saying that about his family's, Tyler's relationship with his family. Candace Owens has her own source, and she's hearing something a little bit different. Again, you guys be the judge. You let me know what you think. I personally think there's so much more to this than we know. And if we're going to hear details from the family in this case, you're going to have to decide or make a decision. Is this something they were pressured into to say, or is it the truth based on the facts that you see?
Gender beliefs. So you got motive, you got evidence to support it, and that doesn't even include the text messages as well. We've went over that. What can she do to defend him when she has this mountain of evidence that she's going to have to deal with?
You're absolutely correct. The evidence is powerful, it's compelling, it's formidable, but there are 3 court-appointed defense counsel in this case. That's required by law. They're vastly experienced in death penalty cases. Make no mistake, they will challenge the admissibility of all of the evidence you have recited. In the end, I suspect they will not succeed. I think their ultimate goal is to save their client's life. And, you know, this case uniquely presents a moral quandary because the victim, Charlie Kirk, believed passionately about charity and love and understanding. He embraced mercy and forgiveness. And I think the defense will probably try to argue that in a penalty phase if it gets to that point. And it will be hovering over the courtroom regardless in the minds and the hearts of the jurors. Is it morally correct under these circumstances to put somebody to death? I mean, look, personally, I've long been against the death penalty for moral reasons. I understand that the Supreme Court has upheld capital punishment. But this case, I think, presents, as I say, a moral dilemma for these jurors that is unique in this case above all others.
So real quickly on that, you know, sometimes in negotiations, you need to give the state something, especially if you want to take the death penalty out. Now, it doesn't look like they're going to do that.
I don't think that's
there has been speculation, and even
in my opinion, the only way they would take the death penalty out is not if this were to go to trial. The only reason they take it out is if there were some sort of plea, and I don't even see the state of Utah offering him a plea. Not in this case. Like, this has to go to trial for so many reasons.
FBI director has talked about these chat rooms. If this suspect was willing to give up people that are in these chat rooms and there's credible evidence, could that possibly be something that the state is interested in?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. It could be. And a plea deal is always a factor. We obviously saw it recently in Idaho in the Brian Kohlberger case.
That's right.
They did it for a variety of reasons. So the one you state could be a consideration. But the other might also be the wishes of the family of Charlie Kirk, the deceased, the victim in this particular case, for the moral reasons that I just stated. I can't speak for him or his family. But the thought has crossed my mind. So a plea deal is always a possibility. And, you know, as the great Clarence Darrow once argued in the famous Leopold and Loeb case, it is a far worse punishment to be locked up, caged like an animal for life, than the easy exit of death.
Well said. We're going to end on that note. What do you guys think? We saw the hearing. We know what Tyler is facing. How is this going to play out? We're going to see a lot of the evidence in these preliminary hearings. Definitely looking forward to that. Y'all know we will cover it here, and I'll be interested to hear specifically from the people that were involved with Tyler, not just some people, specifically his family, possibly hear from Lance, the roommate. I mean, there's so much that will be heard. And we're going to get an update there coming up on the 30th of October. Y'all know we'll be here for it. Let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat. Shout out to the gang too. Man, y'all are in here strong. 1,800 of you in the building. Thank y'all, man. Shout out to y'all for showing love. We're going to talk about... oh, man. So while we're on the subject, we're about to get into it. We got to talk about Candace. Y'all know Candace has been going off, and we have to get into her theories behind what exactly happened to Charlie Kirk and Tyler Robinson's involvement. So we'll get into it here shortly. I do have a couple of super chats that I want to read. Shout out to the super chat gang. That is not the effect I wanted to play. Shout out to Judge Whitaker. We've got my awesome, amazing Amy with the cake, reminding me I need to get lunch at some point soon. Shout out to Amy, always bringing the cake, always delivering, showing so much love. And y'all see her in there. She's putting in work every single day, supporting the show, helping with a lot of the production here, a lot of the articles and the documents that y'all see in this review. Amy helps put together as well. So there's a major part of the show that we produce here. So big shout out to Amy. And she's over there supporting too, bringing the cake and all. Oh my goodness. All right, we've also got Nana Banana in here, says love your coverage and all your members here. All right, shout out to the member gang. And thank you for the 2-bomb as well, Nana Banana. I appreciate it. Shout out to Kitty Cat in here, says that's my jingle.
These niggas like it.
Shout out to Judge Whitaker. YouTube doesn't like it when I play that. They say it's a curse word. They don't like that. I don't say it either in real life, but it's still funny. YouTube doesn't like it. Death row is not easy. Confined 24 hours a day, no outside contact, and usually on death row 15 to 20 years. Yeah, think about that for a second. I mean, I'm glad I'll never have to be in the situation where I'm on death row. But would that be worse? Because death row is not a smooth process. So not only are you just sitting in prison, but you're sitting there just waiting to die. I mean, at what point do you start to panic? Is it when you have 5 years left? Is it when you have 3 years left, 2 years left, 1 year left, 1 month left? And you're like, oh my gosh, it's about to happen. It's about to go down. I don't know. I'm sure it happens multiple times though. I wouldn't want it to be me, and it won't be me. Shout out to Amy as well. Still giving. Dropping the 5 memberships. If you got a membership from Amy, y'all please make sure you say thank you. Not only say thank you, make sure you go check out the members only content we have here on the channel. And you also get instant access to all the videos we drop here as well. And in case you all didn't know, Amy does have a YouTube channel as well. Oh, I see. There it goes. J Money dropped the link to Amy's channel as well. Y'all make sure you go check her out. Subscribe to her YouTube channel. She has amazing content. It's content you could sit there and watch for hours and days and months even. And she puts a lot of hard work into that channel as well. So y'all go make sure you go over there, support. The link is in the description. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. And she's also done a few premieres. She had a premiere for one video this morning. You can even get a chance and opportunity to live chat with a lot of us you see here as well. All right. Shout out to Amy doing it big. She does not miss. Oh, shout out to Canada. Shout out to the North in here. Good to see you, Michelle. Finding this chat was like finding a good pre-roll when I thought it was all out. Just satisfying. I appreciate that. Richard Ramirez was on death row from the 80s and ended up dying of illness instead. Crazy. Yeah, the death sentence is a weird thing. Very weird situation. But either way, let's go ahead and get into this. Let me make sure I updated this. You know, Candace Owens is out here. Y'all want to talk about rabbit holes? Candace Owens is out here cooking. So we're going to talk about it. As we just saw in this hearing, this update that we had in the alleged assassin, Tyler Robinson, he is just, it seems like he's been put in a bad situation, if we're going to be honest. There hasn't been a lot of evidence, definitive evidence that we've seen that says he is the shooter. And of course, on this channel, you are innocent until proven guilty. So we'll have to see how it plays out in court. But we've been hearing a lot of conspiracy theories. We've been hearing a lot of information. And one of the main people we've been hearing different information from has been Candace Owens. She's been doing a lot of her own research. She's been checking in with people who are around Tyler. She had a conversation with someone close to Tyler's roommate and possibly Tyler's roommate about what happened in this situation. And now we're going to hear more about what Tyler's family had to say. And are these statements from his family actually true? I'm going to let Candace get into it. Again, I'm not going to play the full video because I want y'all to go show Candace some love for this information. So I'll leave a link to the full live stream in the comments and also in the description as well. Check this out.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Tyler Robinson didn't kill himself. I mean, these are the phrases that we now use and that we say when we expect that the federal government is telling us a lie. Last week, I have to tell you, I was contacted by a source who I vetted with information that answered a lot of the lingering questions that we've had about the investigation. Not all of them, but some of them, some of the big ones. First and foremost, we were like, how exactly did it work? How did Tyler Robinson turn himself in, as we were told, but also never confessed? And did he actually author those absurd Fed messages? Because I'm thinking no. Lastly, what was he doing at Dairy Queen? Doesn't really quite fit into our timeline. Also, don't expect this kid who just tried out being a stone cold killer to really have an appetite. And why exactly did the feds withhold that information at Dairy Queen? And why are they allegedly stalking the Dairy Queen to see who comes in and out?
Not to mention, why are we seeing these weird text messages with this guy saying vehicle? Who uses the term vehicle? We talked about this on the channel. The way these text messages were written and supposedly sent back and forth didn't make sense either.
Well, we have the story that could possibly potentially answer all of those questions. And it certainly makes a lot more sense than the slop that the government is currently trying to feed us. First and foremost, Tyler Robinson has never confessed. They acknowledge that he has never confessed to this crime, and he still is pleading innocence on the shooting. In fact, I was told that he was, quote unquote, bewildered by the idea that he carved casings. I should be clear, he does not dispute the fact that it is his gun at all. It is his gun. Yeah, but Tyler is not exactly a gun enthusiast. He doesn't hunt like his other brothers do. In fact, he's apparently a fisherman. The reason that he has that gun in the first place is because it is, in fact, a custom-made family heirloom. Tyler is the firstborn son, so he inherited. That's what firstborns do. They get the family heirloom. That is why he has the gun. As many of you guys have noted, the Robinson family appear to be conservative, hence the...
Well, also, we have to point out this thing about Tyler, which is important. When he turned himself in, and we talked about this once it went down, when he turned himself in, or he was turned in by his father, whatever is alleging happened, he was worried. And the thing he was worried about was, even though he was coming peacefully, he was worried about being executed. And he's like, I'm just going to go to the police because I don't want them to catch me somewhere. And I have to cough and I move my hand and it's lights out. So he was concerned. And that seems like now what we're hearing was the biggest reason that he turned himself in was because he didn't want them to catch him slipping.
The hunting and the fishing as the sports of their choosing. I am told that they are fans of Charlie Kirk and they are fans of Donald Trump. Although this source noted that Tyler, like many other conservatives have expressed, wished that Trump would sometimes tone down his speech and his rhetoric. Now, on the topic of rhetoric, I am told that Tyler absolutely did not author those text messages. What text messages? He has no idea where these messages came from. Believes that they are therefore entirely fictionalized. It turns out, you're going to be shocked, that he doesn't actually use words like vehicle, which should come as no surprise to anyone that has a brain. By the way, I'm sure you caught this, but there's old footage of Tyler Robinson that is now circulating from a car accident that he had. And during the discussion with the officer that showed up, Tyler certainly refers to it as his car, not his vehicle, because that's how most Americans, how most English speakers refer to a car, unless they're in the military or on the police force. So here is 2022 police body cam footage, in case you missed that, of Tyler making a crash report. Take a listen.
Your mom's on her way?
Yeah, she's gonna be a minute. She's got to shuttle over from where she's at to her car and then drive over.
Gotcha.
His mother was going to shuttle over from her car? Interesting. There's more, of course. Of most interest to me, what I've learned is that his father does not believe, his parents don't believe that their son committed this crime.
Yep.
I was like, huh? Excuse me? That's a far cry from what the media has been telling us. Remember, the media presented this amazing story. The father realized his son was guilty, so it goes, right? And then he phoned over a friend to help him convince his son to turn himself in, because this guy, you know, this mysterious guy was a friend and just had a connection with Tyler. And eventually they said, you got to do the right thing here. We know this is you. That was the vibe. Certainly that's what the media was putting down for us to pick up. Well, I was told actually that it was kind of the opposite.
Yeah, Lance
that
was
quote
not
unquote
happy.
family friend, who we learned was a former detective with the police force, at least, and so therefore has strong ties with the police station, informed the family. It was that in-between person that informed the family that Tyler had been identified as the shooter. He recognized him. He knows Tyler. He gives them the heads up. And then I'm told, and I believe this, that the way in which he got arrested, or rather turned himself in, was because that family friend slash neighbor slash former detective
It's wild.
told him, hey, it's best for you to turn yourself in because there's only one of two options here. Either you turn yourself in and everything is peaceable, or, you know, the SWAT team could come in here and arrest you and things would get crazy. So that's what happened. He went over to their house. Tyler was called over. Tyler was bewildered. He disputed the idea that he had murdered Charlie Kirk. In fact, according to my source, Tyler has never even stepped foot on UVU campus. Tyler, it turns out, which has already been revealed, was accepted into Utah State University, not Utah Valley. And that's actually interesting if you pause and reflect on that, because we didn't really consider how on earth Tyler became not just familiar with the layout of the campus, but familiar with the rooftop layout of UVU campus. So familiar that he knew exactly how to scale across the rooftops to duck down in order to take an almost impossible shot at a Charlie Kirk who was sitting beneath a tent. How did he know how to do all of that? Had he been there before? that he knew where Charlie was going to be sitting in it, that he would have that shot from on top of the Losey Center. What? Right? I would actually, and I don't know, but I would imagine that even actual current UVU students don't know that possibility. Like, they're not even that familiar with how to scale the rooftops and what shots they can take from it. We'll see. Curiously, however,
she's going to talk about it.
My source says that Tyler Robinson was nearby the campus on that day. I'm wondering if that fact, which I'm trying to learn more information regarding, explains the Dairy Queen photo.
And again, someone asked about Candace having to give up her sources. A lot of this would have to be, they'd have to have a very, very good reason to call Candace and say, hey, you're over there talking too much. We want to know who your sources are. Or it could just be the FBI. It's like, we need to talk to you. Are you going to talk to the FBI if they say that they need some more information from you? Probably. I don't know in Candace's case if she would, or if she would protect her sources. We'd have to wait and see.
Because what was he doing around the campus on that day? Where exactly was he around the campus on that day? This photo never made any sense. When I plugged it into my timeline,
her sources
it wasn't
could be
fitting
protected.
in.
Depends.
So if you're wondering why exactly Tyler would agree to go to the police station if he's not guilty, ironically, the police were honest that day on one of the points. Well, first and foremost, that point is Tyler is not suicidal.
Well, I will say this to Candace's point. I haven't heard of a lot of guilty people walking into police stations. It doesn't usually happen that way. So that was something we talked about here on the channel. We thought was strange that Tyler's like, all right, guys, you got me. I did it. Let me just walk into the police station. That didn't seem normal. So could it be that what Candace is alleging to is true, is that Tyler was afraid for his life because maybe he thought he was set up by someone, or he was a target already and he didn't want to risk being caught out in the open? Or is there something else there?
He wanted to go to the police station so that he didn't risk accidentally getting shot by the police swarming his home, as I said earlier, in a theatrical arrest setting. But rather confusingly, Nate Brooksby tells us that Tyler is suicidal. Whatever. Let's just take a listen to what Nate Brooksby said after he had been apprehended. Take a listen.
So I get a call from my friend, and his said, "Hey, how you doing?
Too.
Good." And it's not, he's been retired a few years. We'll call each other. It's not unusual for me to get a call from him or vice versa. And at 8:02 p.m., he calls me. Hey, I can tell his voice is kind of shaky. So my first thought is, who died? Like who's he going to tell me that died? And then I couldn't fathom what actually came out of his mouth. So he said, "Hey, I know who Charlie Kirk's shooter is. I know the family through religious association, and he's in Washington County now, and we're working on trying to get him to come in voluntarily." During that phone call, some information was provided about Tyler potentially having some suicidal ideations, was en route to a remote area of Washington County. The parents convinced him not to do that, and conveyed that they would stand by him and help him surrender peacefully.
Yeah, right.
I'm told that's not true. Tyler was not suicidal at all. He was just confused and didn't want to get shot. And then he gets to that part, right? He then tells us, Brooksby, that he came in willingly because he didn't want to die. Let's take a listen to that portion.
Within the hour, my friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office, where he was greeted by plainclothes detectives. So that was part of the deal. Is Tyler knew it was just inevitable with all the law enforcement pressure that his picture in the news, the gun on the news. He knew it was inevitable that he would be caught. He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable to where he would show up at my office. And that,
if he was set up, that was the smartest move he could possibly make. Now, having all those witnesses there, all those people there to help bring him in, it could have went one of two ways. We don't know. But again, it's still odd and still strange that this is the way Tyler chose to turn himself in. Was he coached or was he helped by his father? I mean, are we going to see that in the statements moving forward? We need to get to this preliminary hearing. I mean, I know this is Tyler's life that we're dealing with here, so I don't want to rush it, but I want to see the evidence. We have to see the evidence, because we can talk about conspiracy theories and what sources say all day long. But when it comes to the evidence, if the family's saying, no, we saw Tyler, Tyler's mother says, I saw him on the news, I called my husband, like, I think that's Tyler. The dad called Tyler, like the text messages say, and said, hey, Tyler, is that you? I was like, yeah, sorry, guys, it's me. Dad said, get your ass over here. You're going to turn yourself in. Dad dramatically holds him there, and then he decides to turn himself into the police. I don't know.
That's exactly what happened.
Hard to believe.
It can't be both. It can't be both. Was he suicidal and wanting to die, or was he worried about dying? It can't be both. And I didn't catch on to that early on. It's the answer was he came in.
It could be both.
Because he is not suicidal and did not want to get shot and was confused, as I am told. Now, you're probably wondering why the father and the mother didn't speak out to assert his innocence. That would make sense, right? Why don't you come right out and dispute everything immediately? Well, interestingly enough, I'm told that it's because the feds told them that if they spoke out, their lives could be at risk. Like they needed to keep things private, and they convinced the family to go into witness protection. Like, your lives are in danger. You shouldn't say anything. Somebody could, like, just come back and try to harm you guys because of what your son did. You should go into witness protection and don't speak to anybody. Trust us, we're the feds, bro. And they agreed, of course, in the fog of it all. Why wouldn't you agree? But then, like any good, maybe conservative family, you start going, I don't really trust these feds. Like, I'm a little suspicious about the feds.
That's fair.
Here's another point of interest, okay? His father had no idea that Tyler was gay. That's what I'm told. They are learning this in and through the media. They thought that Lance was just his roommate, and they were especially shocked because apparently Tyler kept mentioning to them that he wanted them to meet some girl that he was seeing. Now, I would like to interject my own voice here and say that I think this girl was likely Lance, and Tyler was working up the courage to tell his family that he was gay. That is possible. What is most likely, in my opinion, because we know for a fact that Tyler was, in fact, in a relationship with Lance, because we have exclusive photos, by the way, they're about to show you, that the two of them posted to their Instagrams. This is Lance posting Halloween-era photos. I forgot to post. My boyfriend is the best. Love you. Don't worry, that handle has since been taken down of what Tyler.
So, wait, with that being the case, who's saying that the family didn't know? The family had to have been following him unless this account was private.
His handle was, but he's got a handle that doesn't have his name in it, so he's maybe trying to hide this stuff. And then here's another photo of them. And this one's posted by Lance again, pics from when Tyler had a mustache. You can see that they were in a relationship. Just makes sense that he was working up the courage to maybe tell his family about that. Now, I was told also that Tyler is off the charts intelligent and always has been. We know this. He had a perfect GPA in high school. Now, that is precisely what made the idea of him being so stupid as to author a full confessional via text messages pointedly absurd. Like, any person with a modicum of intelligence is going to go, I'm not going to put this down in writing with every detail. And apparently whoever authored those messages, likely feds, didn't have a modicum of intelligence, or they would have maybe not included every single detail there. The family says that the photo of the young man that is coming up the stairs, which was shared, that blurry image, is definitively not Tyler Robinson. And let me just say, I never thought it looked like him. Neither did you. Okay. Face looks different. Face looks more narrow. Also, that person looks taller. Every time I say, I'm like, this person is taller than Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson also appears to have full lips, even though this image is blurry. We're not looking for someone that got fuller lips. And Tyler Robinson looks broader than that individual walking, right? So I'm on board with that person walking up the stairs. It's not Tyler Robinson, because I feel like it was intentionally blurred. They also
I think the interesting thing was they're saying that Tyler did all of this changing. Like, he changed multiple times, and then he changed back into his other clothes, and then he changed again. Some of that, when it comes to this timeline, doesn't make sense or add up.
Never gave us the footage at all, because in order to blur it, they probably needed a static image. Also, the family believes that, and this is really interesting, Tyler Robinson's apartment was staged after his arrest. Now, you will recall that I spoke to Lance's family, And one of the things that Lance's family said was, hey, we own that apartment. They pay rent to us. We've never met Tyler Robinson, but I can tell you that it seems like they were trying to hide the fact that this apartment got raided. And it's very strange that they immediately cleared Lance as a suspect. And I was told by other people in the department that they wanted to keep that raid very hush-hush. They didn't want anybody to know about the raid. There was no mention of this raid, and Lance immediately gets cleared as a suspect. Why?
Well, I'll tell you why I think Lance was cleared. It's because, as we've heard from the governor and as we've heard from the sheriff, Lance was fully cooperating with everything they need. Lance said, here, you want to take this, you want to look at this, whatever you need. I'm not being involved. I don't have a problem with it. Here you go. So if that's the case, then Lance most likely would be ruled out as a suspect, because you can see all the communication. They have access to Lance's information. Apparently they went over there and were able to access either the Discord server or how they were messaging each other. So again, who knows? Where is Lance? We're going to hear from Lance for sure. How they were involved, I don't know. Shout out to Candace. I'm going to leave the link to this video in the description. We're not done yet, though, because we're going to move forward and now talk about some new information, some information that Candace has specifically about the crime scene and what she was able to find from someone who's local. So y'all make sure you stay tuned for that in the next video, in the next segment. Let me know what you think in the comments in the chat. We got 2,700 of y'all in the building. And we are not done with Candace. Why did I pause Candace like that? My bad, Candace. I got her looking like she's in a horror film. My bad. Shout out to everyone that's in here. That's amazing. Hey guys, I don't ask for much on this channel at all, but there's at least 1,000 of you that haven't liked the video yet. I'm so glad all 2,700 of you are in here. If you could, please take a second, like the video. It's free and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right. So now we're going to talk about what these new details are from Candace Owens when it comes to Tyler Robinson and the actual crime scene. So let me update this over here and we'll get into it. Candace Owens has some new details about Tyler Robinson and this Charlie Kirk assassination, specifically what happened during the crime scene. We're actually going to see never before seen footage from Candace Owens showing what happened at the crime scene, what the actual crime scene looks like, and where Tyler allegedly dumped the gun, ran off, maybe even some footprints of his from the shoes that he was wearing. It gets crazy. So y'all check this out. Again, I'll give Candace Owens all the credit for this information, and I will leave a link in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. Check this out.
I begin actually searching through our tips box for anything related to Phil Lyman. Maybe somebody else noticed something or knew something or he said something, and lo and behold, very early on, someone just messaged us and said, hey, like, you should probably ask more questions about Phil Lyman, because every time I look into this investigation locally, him and his family members are popping up. And then that person tells me that his nephew had sort of done this public tour, like Phil Lyman's nephew did this public tour saying that he was going to walk the same route that the shooter walked near his grandmother's house, and that they found, you guys remember this, they found the Converse footprint nearby his grandma's house. And he presented a map, like, this is it. This is actually from his Instagram. He presents this map, and his nephew's name is Shane. And this was all public. I'm only looking at things publicly. And let's just look at some of these posts from nephew Shane. I mean, first and foremost, he's with his friends. Said, I took my friends to my grandma's house tonight, and we retraced his steps, and we took pictures in the exact place that the security cameras caught him. I've been through this new experience for the last few days. I'm still very glad to have attended and to support Charlie Kirk and to see him. The last pic shows Converse brand footprints. And then he does hashtags, and here are him and the three friends. And by the way,
it's crazy.
I'm looking at the front on the right, and I'm like, I don't know. I'd like to know who that is at the very least. And I'd like to know who everybody in this photo is. This is just interesting. Like, you guys are in the staircase and posting side-by-sides. Like, they put these side-by-side photos of them in the staircase. And I just was like, I need to just know more about you, and I need to know more about these two individuals who I couldn't find in his friends list. And they certainly hadn't liked the photo, or else I would have messaged them directly to figure out who they are. And yeah, I found that very strange. And so I messaged Nick and I asked him whether or not he had ever received any images or videos from Phil directly. At the very least, we can see his line of vision so I can figure out where exactly he was when the shots ran out. And I'm wondering if, like, we can maybe get some footage that we didn't have before when the shots ran out. And also, by the way, metadata is king. That's kind of been it's good to see, because then I can put it in my timeline. That's why I love metadata. I can say this exactly happened at this time. Strangely, Phil kind of freaks out. He doesn't want to share those photos with Nick. And he asks him explicitly, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? I thought we were all on the same side. We're all trying to catch Charlie Kirk's killer one way or the other. You inserted yourself into this, got on the phone with me. I was not even trying to make any communication with you. I literally am just asking questions. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, you don't want to answer any questions. You don't want to share anything. And he tells me that yesterday, Phil Lyman just calls him and he shouts at him. Like, who the F do you think you are, kind of a deal? You know what I mean? Like, who are you to ask me for anything? I already gave my photos to Taylor Hansen. And so at that point, I was like, look, you've been great, Nick, but I don't want you being shouted at. I don't want you feeling comfortable in your own home. I would like you to just remove yourself entirely from the boots on the ground elements of this investigation. I don't think Phil is acting in a way that I perceive to be stable, given the fact that, again, he inserted himself in this investigation and we're asking, this is my car on the street. Okay, you want to be helpful. We're asking you to be helpful. And now all of a sudden you're showing up at a 20-year-old's house and you're being weird. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Yeah. And I said I could reach out to Phil directly by myself. And I did. I reached out to both Phil and I reached out to his nephew, Shane. And I asked for them to identify the guys in that photo. Like I said, I was interested in who those individuals were because I couldn't find it on his friend list. And in response, Shane immediately takes his profile private. And Phil Lyman, leaves me on red.
That's not great.
I am now left in the predicament where I need to just ask the public, if you are one of those two kids that are in the photos there, I would love to ask you some questions since you publicized this tour. I mean, they even did the full video walking through where he walked. And, he said, my uncle, he posted Phil Lyman. So my uncle was with Charlie. This is the video that they posted. Everything was done publicly. And now I'm like, okay, you could maybe you have something that's helpful. I want to ask you about, could you send me that photo? Could you send me that video? Could you send me all of this stuff? And now I'm getting radio silence. So unfortunately, because I need to figure out what happened on that day, I'm turning to the public to try to identify those people and anything else that you may know that may help put things together for us. Again, please reserve the tips at CandaceOwens.com for actual tips related to the questions that we are asking, not for just comments, those sorts of things, videos that you'd like me to watch or things that you'd like to do to point me into a different direction. Please just tag us on social media so that we can try to manage this process better.
All right. So if y'all have any thoughts or if you see anything, you can send it to tips@CandaceOwens.com. Let her know. I've got another video here that we want to see. Now, this is specifically about Candace Owens, but it is about the information that we just saw in the video. So check this out. And we're actually going to hear some audio. Shout out to Hustle posting this over on X. They say people profile scrubbed immediately after Candace questions him. It gets wild. Candace Owens pressed the nephew of former Utah State Representative Phil Lyman after he posted videos and photos retracing the killer's steps, allegedly, in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Moments later, his profile goes private. Here are the photos and videos he scrubbed from the public eye. What did he reveal that couldn't stay public? You guys can decide. Here we go. Oh, and I've got this muted. Hold on a second. It's got music on it. So we've got the picture of here that we saw from them. Recreating the scene. Got the footprints allegedly from Tyler. Took my friends to my grandma's house tonight and we retraced his steps and took pictures in the exact security cameras in the exact place the security cameras caught him. I've been through this new experience for the last few days. Interesting. And so he's showing more pictures of the area they went to. And then this is his uncle, Phil Lyman, just before Charlie took the stage. Oh, this gets wild, man. And now this is private. So let's see what was taken down from this account. Here we go.
Because I got here like about 10 minutes before he walked by. And then I was talking to Mom and we were doing all this stuff. And then I look out the thing and there was somebody like right here. But they were just like kind of doing this kind of stuff, not really
pacing back and
So I
forth.
sent it to the FBI and said, if there's an accomplice, because the camera from here to here took way too long if you time how long it took him to get from that little part over to here, was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff, like if there is an accomplice. Sorry, you're filming.
And it said right here, that picture from Sam's across the street, he was right here.
Yep.
And so you say the gun was dumped up here?
No, I'll show you where.
Wow.
Our sacred hill.
This is where we sled every year.
Yeah. There's the hut that all of you guys would build.
So it looks like a pretty heavily trafficked area, though.
You could see him in this area.
And I saw the officers right there, and then on the basketball hoop.
So some of these footprints would be his for sure.
Ooh, that's right. I would play there as a kid in those forts. And to have been there at that rally. Ooh.
And again, this is all information that was taken down or made private. So I'm sure this man's uncle reached out to him and said, hey, dog, we're not trying to get involved with this. The FBI's involved. Leave it alone.
I saw Irwin on TV as well. They interviewed Irwin out front. Oh, and there's the Losi Center right there. The roof of the building in which he was on.
I didn't know where this was. So that's right where he was?
Yes, the Losi Center. Look at that cat.
Way closer than I thought it was.
So he must have known how to scout out, and like I had this on my calendar for weeks, and so it said it was in the courtyard, and so he must have been. There's EVU. Wow. He must have known because it said it would be in the courtyard, and all the events that take place, he enters through that little driveway.
He came and checked this all out.
This is Briggs' former house.
So that's the roof he shot from?
Yeah, the Losi Center. That's the career center of the university where I did my interviews for internships.
It's the Losi Center where he shot from.
Yep, and this is Briggs Steele's old house. And so
he would have dropped down somewhere.
So it makes you wonder, why would this be made private? Why isn't this video up anymore?
And there's Grandma's old house. And so where do you say the gun was dropped?
Well, DeRay's house is right here. And there's one of the places up here that doesn't have the fence. So he probably just ran up in there and dropped it. But it's like, this isn't that far. I was thinking he went a long ways up in there. But
it's not far at all.
And it could be actually over here.
And that's the tunnel where they released the photos of him entering, because you can't cross the street anymore. They made that underground tunnel. You see that handrail right there? That's the photo they had of him going down.
I mean, it's wild to see how close the campus is to the area they're saying it was dropped at. What do y'all think?
And
wow. And that's the video, guys. So what do y'all think? What do you guys think about that? Is it something? Is it nothing? Is it everything? There's a reason. There's a reason the profile was made private. There's a reason this isn't available for everyone to see. Thankfully, there's a lot of internet detectives out there that were able to find this type of information and post it. Answers. We need answers. That's all I'm going to say. Preliminary hearing is coming up very, very shortly. We're going to have a status hearing coming up next month. What do y'all think we're going to find? Let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat. Shout out to the gang. Not a lot. I don't believe in coincidences. Don't believe in it. Oh, man. I have one more thing I was going to get into, but I think we're going to wait and we're going to cover it tomorrow. But I'll be interested to see what y'all think about this. So the preliminary hearing date, from what I understand, has not been set yet, but we've got the status hearing coming up on October 30th. So y'all know we will be here for that. Yeah, you guys, all the conspiracy theories dropping in the chat. Is Jim McIntyre involved in this conspiracy? I don't know. We'll have to ask Nicholas Casotis about that. Oh, man. Maybe she believes there were others there to unalive him, but Tyler got him first. Maybe y'all are talking about the gun too. You aren't breaking down that gun, putting it back together and being accurate. That's a pipe dream. The scope would be off. Yeah. The gun enthusiasts know. His uncle was like, nope, we are not in this. I do not want the FBI knocking on my door again. Right? Exactly. All right, we're going to get up out of here. Appreciate the love. Big shout out to those of you who liked the video. If you haven't yet, like the video on your way out. Guys, it's free. All right. Also, I know you'll have a good time here and everyone's welcome, even if you have differing views and opinions. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live. Big shout out and thank you to everyone who super chatted as well. Les Cleaver, CPE, Nana Banana, and my awesome, amazing Amy E. I hope y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. We'll be dropping some more clips later on today and going in tomorrow morning as well. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning. Y'all know we don't miss as well. Hope y'all have a great afternoon. As always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace. Woo.